That we found out that Blake Lively's team, according to her attorney, is actually planning to file an amended complaint in their lawsuit against Justin Baldoni and others. According to her attorney, Michael Gottlieb, that is going to include new claims from Blake Lively, and they're going to be bringing this lawsuit against new defendants.
The courtroom was electric with tension. Just when we thought Blake Lively's legal battle couldn't get any more dramatic, a shocking twist sent ripples through the entire case. Was this a strategic power play or a desperate move to stay ahead? Either way, what happened next left everyone speechless. Blake Lively's legal team is making bold moves, so bold that even the judge had to step in. According to her attorney, Michael Gottlieb, they're preparing to file an amended complaint, bringing in new claims, new evidence, and new defendants. But here's where things get wild. Despite already being granted an extension until February 14th, Valentine's Day no less, Blake's team wanted more time. And not just a little more. They pushed their luck, requesting an extension all the way to March 5th. But Judge Lyman wasn't having it. The courtroom held its breath as he shot down their request. Blake's team had already been given extra time. Why did they suddenly need more? That's when they played their next card. They revealed their plan to introduce new witnesses, including Jenny Slate, who had co-starred with Justin Baldoni in It Ends With Us. Jenny had previously stood by Blake, publicly dismissing the allegations against her as baseless attacks. In a heartfelt statement, she had declared, "Blake is a leader, a loyal friend, and a trusted source of emotional support. What has been revealed about the attacks on her is deeply disturbing and incredibly harmful. I commend her bravery and stand with her." But then, just when it mattered most, Jenny's stance took a shocking turn. When it came time to testify, she distanced herself from the case entirely, leaving everyone, especially Blake, stunned. Why the sudden change? Had something happened behind the scenes? Blake's legal team wasn't ready to give up. They attempted to subpoena Jenny, believing she had information that could strengthen their argument. But was this a genuine effort for justice, or a strategic move to pull more names into the lawsuit and add weight to their claims? The courtroom buzzed with speculation. Was Blake's team stacking the deck, or were they genuinely seeking justice? Either way, their strategy backfired. When Jenny refused to cooperate, they scrambled for another approach, another delay. And that's when they made their biggest misstep yet. Their new argument centered around Jed Wallace and his company, Street Relations. According to Blake's team, Wallace had filed a separate 10-page lawsuit in Texas, which supposedly complicated their case. They insisted they needed more time to handle both lawsuits. At first glance, it sounded reasonable. But then, Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, stepped in, and he came armed with receipts. With a calm, almost chilling precision, Friedman exposed Blake's team for what he called blatant hypocrisy. Just weeks earlier, during the devastating Los Angeles wildfires, Baldoni's team had requested an extension, but Blake's legal team refused. Yet now, they were demanding extra time for themselves. The irony wasn't lost on the judge, nor on anyone else in the courtroom. And then, the moment that changed everything. With one final blow, Friedman pulled out a document that sent shockwaves through the room. The real reason Blake's team needed more time? It wasn't because of Wallace's lawsuit. It was because Blake herself had filed legal action against Wallace in Texas, 2 weeks before Wallace even responded with his lawsuit. The courtroom fell into stunned silence. The twist was undeniable. Had Blake's team been caught trying to manipulate the timeline? Judge Lyman certainly seemed to think so. Without hesitation, he denied their request for a month-long extension, granting them only one extra day. The look of defeat on Blake's legal team was impossible to miss. Shoulders slumped, faces pale, They looked like a group that had just realized they were running out of tricks. The courtroom atmosphere grew even heavier as Judge Lyman made it crystal clear. Blake Lively's team had run out of excuses. Their plea for more time was officially denied. And just when it seemed like the situation couldn't get worse, it absolutely did. It was a digital war zone packed with damning evidence. A meticulously compiled 168-page timeline of events, never-before-seen text messages, and an amended legal complaint. The message was clear. No more secrets. No more buried details. It was all out in the open for the world to see. And suddenly, this legal showdown was no longer just about courtrooms and legal filings. It had become a full-blown trial in the court of public opinion. Blake's team had tried to control the narrative, but now, that control was slipping fast. The website was a turning point, exposing raw, unfiltered details that had been carefully kept behind closed doors. The pressure was mounting, and the stakes were climbing even higher. And then came another unexpected twist. Ryan Reynolds, Blake's husband, was suddenly pulled deeper into the controversy. A leaked text message from Reynolds to Baldoni revealed just how enthusiastic he had initially been about "It ends with us." In the message, he reportedly wrote, "This is going to be incredible. I happen to adore you, Justin." At the time, it was a friendly, supportive exchange. But now, given the lawsuit, those words carried an entirely different weight. Blake's legal team, already drowning in setbacks, made one last desperate attempt to stop the bleeding. They pleaded with the court to have the website taken down, arguing that Baldoni's team should not be allowed to publicly release evidence like this. But the judge wasn't buying it. The reasoning was brutally simple. Blake's team had already taken their battle to the public. They had used major media outlets, including the New York Times, to push their side of the story. If they had no issue using the press when it suited them, why should Baldoni's team be silenced now that they were fighting back? At this point, Blake's legal team had to be wondering just how much worse things could get. Every move they had made had backfired. Every attempt to regain control had slipped through their fingers. And with each failed strategy, the reality of losing this lawsuit became more and more apparent. But let's talk about what's really at stake here. $400 million. That's not just a painful loss, it's career-shattering. Even for two major Hollywood stars like Blake and Ryan, a financial hit of that magnitude could be devastating. It would mean reassessing future projects, endorsements, and investments. This lawsuit was no longer just about legal fees and reputation. It was about potential financial ruin. And here's the million-dollar question. Literally, how much more can Blake's team handle before they completely crack under the pressure? Every ruling, every new piece of evidence, every strategic misfire, it all points in one direction. The case is slipping further and further out of their control. The media frenzy is growing, with every new revelation adding fuel to the fire. Social media is ablaze with speculation, and fans are split between unwavering support and growing skepticism. The whispers of doubt are getting louder, and for the first time, there's real fear in Blake's camp. Behind the scenes, sources close to the actress say she is feeling the strain like never before. Once known for her effortless poise and confidence, Blake has reportedly become increasingly withdrawn, dodging public appearances and press interactions. The pressure isn't just professional, it's personal. With Ryan now tangled in the mess, the stakes have risen to an all-time high. What began as a legal dispute has spiraled into a full-scale PR nightmare, one that could leave permanent scars on both their careers. As for Baldoni, his legal team is playing a patient, calculated game. They know they hold the upper hand, and they are in no rush to back down. every setback for Blake is a victory for them, and they are methodically dismantling every argument her lawyers put forward. The longer this drags on, the worse it gets for Blake's side, and at this rate, a devastating loss seems inevitable. So, what happens next? Is there any way for Blake and Ryan to turn this around? Or is this the moment where everything starts to unravel completely? The countdown has begun, and with each passing day, the walls are closing in. What do you think? Will this be Hollywood's biggest legal downfall? Or is there still one final twist waiting to unfold? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe. You won't want to miss what comes next.